It's Friday, September 26th, and this is the Echo Press Newsminute for the week of September 21st through the 27th. I'm Lisa Johnson. The Alexandria Area High School's homecoming week capped off on Friday, September 19th with a pep fest and crowning of the king and queen, and, of course, football. Because of heavy downpours Friday afternoon, the annual homecoming parade was canceled, but all the other homecoming activities took place as scheduled. As for the football game, the Alexandria Cards dominated the Elk River Elks by a score of 52-16. For more on the game, read the story in the sports section of the Wednesday, September 24th Echo Press. Alexandria is proposing a property tax levy of $10.59 million for 2026. That is an 8% increase from this year's levy of $9.8 million. The Alexandria City Council approved the preliminary levy at its Monday, September 22nd meeting. The amount can be reduced or adjusted before the council takes final action, but it cannot be increased according to state law. The council also approves a 2026 preliminary budget of $13.8 million, a 3.8% increase from 2025. Before voting, the council held a hearing to allow comments, but no one from the public spoke. The impact on property taxes: the median home value in 2026 increased to $289,900, or 9.6%. with the estimated city share of property taxes totaling about $939. That's an increase of $95, according to City Administrator Marty Schultz. Revenues are projected to be just under $6,680,000, a less than 1% increase. The final adoption of the preliminary budget and levy will be considered at what's commonly known as the Truth in Taxation hearing on Monday, December 8th. There was a festive atmosphere at the Law Enforcement Building at Alexandria Technical and Community College September 18th, at the site of Global Bites and Beats. Presented by Alexandria Diversity Fest, it offered locals a chance to eat foods and take in entertainment representing other cultures. Among the available foods were andouille sausage, tacos, coconut curry chicken, Haitian chicken, cheese wonton, spring rolls, and snacks and candy from China, Japan, the Netherlands, and India. The Red Tree Singers performed along with Bea Hadler, Andrea Shelley, Mary Jane Henke, and Salve Westanmo, Michael Graves, Kayla Noble, and others. The MC was Tom Lee. Friends, family, and colleagues celebrated Laurie Anderson at a retirement party Wednesday, September 17th in Alexandria. After 22 years, Habitat for Humanity's executive director has retired. Stepping into the role is Christine Riley, who was appointed to the executive director position in July. In an April 10th Echo Press online article, Anderson announced her retirement and said that the transition would allow her the gift of more time with family and friends and time to travel and fully enjoy the lakes area. Hired in 2004, Anderson began her career with Habitat as the first part-time employee of the affiliate. Her early contributions were instrumental in establishing Habitat's core values and operational standards, ultimately strengthening the organization's capacity. In life, meet Ning Zhang, a semifinalist for a National Merit Scholarship. The 17-year-old high school senior says becoming a National Merit Scholar was on her radar, sort of. Being a National Merit Scholar was just kind of on my radar a little bit, she says. It wasn't necessarily at the forefront of my mind the whole time. You have to take the pre-SAT to qualify for it, and I was just like, why not? I'll take a try at it, see where this ends up. According to a news release from Alexandria Public Schools, Zhang is among more than 16,000 semifinalists nationwide. Zhang says she's always thought of herself as a good student, but that doesn't mean it wasn't a lot of hard work, too. And unlike the brainiac students we see on TV and in the movies, Zhang says she hasn't had to make a trade-off between good grades and other parts of her life as a high school student. I still have a great balance between my schooling, my extracurricular involvement, my sports, staying active, being with family and friends, she says. At some points, I do have to value or take seriously one part over another, but I always have time for other things. And I think it's just you always make time for the things that you value in life. In sports, it was a great night at home Thursday, September 18th for the Alexandria Cardinal varsity girls volleyball team as they beat the Moorhead Spuds in 5 matches with a score of 3-2. I am so proud of the team's grit tonight, said head coach Mary Byrne. So what contributed to the win? Byrne said she thought the team's libero, Emily Doherty, played well and led the team in defense with 19 digs. She also said Campbell Jensen was strong at the net. It's time to pick up your copy of the Echo Press today for great local news coverage. Members, remember to activate your online membership for the expanded daily e-edition. Become a member today. echopress.com/subscribe. The Echo Press, giving information life since 1891. Here are the top stories in Friday's issue. More than 2,300 Douglas County men and women were inducted into the military after the beginning of World War II. Some of their stories were shared last week at the Douglas County Historical Society during an artifact chat, featuring numerous items relating to those stories on display. One of the items was a scrapbook kept by Norman Henning, who was born in Miltona in 1924. This scrapbook shows his time in the 11th Airborne Division, which was known as the Angels, a parachute infantry regiment, says DCHS Associate Director Jenna Collins. Norman and his fellow soldiers left from planes and parachuted into difficult-to-reach war zones. The 11th Airborne was one of the first U.S. airborne divisions in World War II, actually. Henning trained at Camp McCall in North Carolina. Collins says training for the airborne troops was extremely arduous. It included lengthy marches, running simulated parachute jumps from 200 and 150-foot towers, as well as practice jumps from transport aircraft. If you hesitated in the door of an aircraft, it was an automatic failure, so you were no longer considered a candidate. This is reflected in some of the photos in the scrapbook, which depict troops preparing for jumps and feature captions like, "Go, you fool," and "Who's scared?" Read our story for more about these brave soldiers and the artifacts they left behind. Most Alexandria residents know their city is the site of a 3M plant, but how many know what the plant does? Plant Director Paul Quam took the Echo Press on a tour of the plant last week to talk about what kinds of products are made there and how. The Alexandria 3M plant, which manufactures products for 3M's abrasive division, opened its doors in 1967 in a temporary plant of 3,000 square feet. It moved to its current location on Broadway a year later, and the building has been expanded 6 times since then. Quam says one of the best parts of being in a smaller town is being able to take part in many different organizations. We've got a number of our folks that are board members on different boards here, and we have a community giving process every year, he says, where we're donating supplies or money to many of the organizations in the community. About 365 employees can be found on site on any given day, along with a handful of contingent workforce. One of those employees, Mary Woiba, has worked at 3M for 15 years. "I like the variety and the challenge," she says, "and I know I'm doing a good job. It feels good to be able to put out sandpaper that allows all these homes to be built, for one thing." David Johnson has also been at the plant for 15 years. They've got quite a business and quite the knowledge, he says. Each year, something new is coming up. The Alexandria City Council approved a special event permit for the Someplace Safe Take a Stand Against Domestic Violence event on Tuesday, October 14th. That will take place between 5 and 7 p.m. More than 100 participants are expected to attend. In other action, the council voted to table getting appraisals from Ruland Commercial Consultants for conservation easements along the Southeast Watershed Trail. The cost of the appraisals would be almost $16,000. Council members said the cost was strikingly high, considering that the easements would be on bare land. The city was awarded a Conservation Partners Legacy Grant by the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources back on December 29, 2023, to acquire a 100-foot wide conservation easement around the area of Lake Connie and the immediate upstream wetland complex. The ultimate goal would be to construct a segment of the Southeast Watershed Trail in the easement area. That, according to City Administrator Marty Schultz. The grant is for easement acquisition only and does not include construction of the trail. You can read the Echo Press for more stories about the City Council. Just like the Douglas County Board and the Alexandria City Council, the Alexandria School Board has set the school district's preliminary levy. Superintendent Rick Sandstead provided information to school board members at the Monday, September 22nd meeting. The proposed preliminary levy amount for the 2025 taxes payable in 2026 is a 0.26% decrease from the final levy for the 2024 taxes payable in 2025. The Minnesota Department of Education computes the levy limitation for every school district based on current legislation and formulas. School boards can approve levy amounts up to but not exceeding the limits established by the state. Sandstead asked the board to approve the maximum levy because once the preliminary levy is set, it can't go up, but it can go down. The final levy, which again can be decreased, will be approved in December. Sandstead said the district would soon be sending out a news release with more information about the levy and the proposed levy residents of the district will be voting on in November. Also at the school board meeting, licensed school nurse Melissa Bright shared the Health Services 2024-25 annual update with school board members. Because education and health are intertwined, Bright said the district's goal is to support students with health concerns, prevent or minimize health problems, keep students healthy and in school, as well as promote health and wellness. In the 2024-25 school year, there were over 18,000 visits to the health offices across the district, which Bright says is up a bit from the previous year's total of just over 17,000. In sports, the Alexandria Cardinals girls soccer team came out hot, setting the tone early on the game on Tuesday, September 23rd, against the Sauk Rapids Rice Storm. Playing at home, the Cards dominated over the Storm, shutting them out 5-0. Head coach Luis Moreno said the team dominated possession, moved the ball well, and consistently found space in the attacking third. Opinion page items for the week include an Echo Press editorial about developing friendships with artificial intelligence, an In the Know column from Police Chief Scott Kent about overcoming fear and tension over recent events, our history column, an Echo Press editorial about teachers deserving higher pay, an Our Turn column from Celeste Edenloff about what it's like to be a sports reporter, and a letter about the Adopt a Drain program. I'm Lisa Johnson. This is the Echo Press News Minute for the week of September 21st through 27th. The Echo Press News Minute is produced by Al Edenloff and Lisa Johnson. The Echo Press, giving information life since 1891.